Hi guys, and welcome back to episode number 3 of my body transformation series. In this video I'm going to share with you my top tips on how to meal prep easily, efficiently and with minimal stress. Remember guys, if you like this video then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and any comments would be awesome. At the end of this video I'm going to share with you a little update as to how my own prep is going as I get ready for my next bodybuilding show. So stay tuned at the end if you'd like to hear a little bit more. So essentially over the years I've been able to turn something that was very time consuming and quite frankly very stressful, and I've made that into a lifestyle. I'd argue to say that all of us could benefit from forward thinking when it comes to food. So whether your goal is to hit a calorie target, improve your nutrition, or just become a bit more aware of what you're eating, meal prep can fit in really nicely with learning and being able to control your diet a little bit more. Later on in the video we are going to look at how to get inspiration and talk about some different recipe ideas and different food combos. But for now let's think about the basics. So what is it you need to be able to start meal prepping? So I'd start by getting yourself a pair of weighing scales. So that can either be for if you're tracking your calories and you want to be specific, or for batch cooking where you can measure out portion sizes. You also want to have somewhere to record what ingredients you need when you go food shopping. So either you could do that on your phone or a basic pen and paper. And I'd look at your kitchen utensils. So just make sure you've got enough there to be able to do a decent amount of prep. Try and get yourself some Tupperwares if you're transporting your food on the go, but also look at things like if you need frying pans, steamers, any things that you're going to cook with. Just check that all the stuff you have in is going to do the job. Once you have those things in place, you want to look at setting aside time for your meal prep. So I personally like to do a Sunday and a Wednesday. So on a Sunday I cook for Monday, Tuesday and the majority of Wednesday. And then on a Wednesday evening I'll cook for Thursday, Friday and Saturday. So it works really well for me and it fits in really nicely with my lifestyle. It might be that you look to do everything on a Sunday. You can look at different things like batch cooking that you can freeze if that's easier for you, or you can cook on a Sunday to last you Monday to Friday. So when you think about food prep, think about it like this. The word prep. P stands for preparation, R for requires, E for experimentation, and P for patience. So looking at adding in food prep into your lifestyle, you're going to need to allow yourself a bit of time to learn, a bit of time to experiment, and that's going to help you ease into it. If you start to do loads of different recipes, really in-depth food prep, it can start to stress you out, and trust me, I've been there. When I started as a competitor, I used to spend hours and hours on food prep, and anyone that knows me from that time will know how obsessive that became. So it can breed into this controlling nature. What you want to do is be able to fit it into your lifestyle so it's not a stress for you. So being prepared, but also allowing that experimentation and patience, you will be able to work this into your lifestyle much easier than if you put pressure on yourself to know exactly how to do it all and expect that every single recipe you do will be perfect. A really great way to get started is to look at single ingredient meal prep. So by this I mean choosing a variety of different ingredients and making that into a combination of foods for a meal. So an example of this, so something that I like to do pretty much most days after my workouts, I'll have chicken, rice and broccoli. So what I can do on my Sunday or my Wednesday is make up 3 lots of broccoli, 3 lots of rice, and I tend to roast a whole chicken and I portion that out. So I can make enough rice and broccoli for those meals, separate it over 3 containers. I can then add my chicken once that's cooked and I've portioned it out. And that makes 3 meals really, really easily. If you're looking to do the batch cooking side of things, that's going to take a little bit more getting used to a bit more learning. So by starting with the single ingredient combinations, you can just get into the flow of what it is to meal prep and introduce that into your life. Another go-to of mine is to literally peel and dice a whole butternut squash. I'll then measure off how much I need and cook that just in the steamer. I'll then add a protein source, so I'll add some chicken or maybe some fish, and that's a really easy combination. Also for vegetarians, you can look at incorporating things like tofu, falafel, different options there to just bring together 2 or 3 different ingredients, so you can have multiple vegetables if you want to, and all you need to do is steam them, fry them off, bring it together with your protein source, and that is a simple go-to that I always include throughout my week as a really easy meal prep. Another good way to bring in food combinations is to look at things like introducing, say, a protein yogurt. You can have that with a bit of fruit and maybe a protein bar. So there's so many different protein bars you can get nowadays. And what I really like to do is have a combination like that which hits my sweet tooth. So you've got a yogurt, some fruit and a protein bar, and that's a really nice combo that you can take pretty much anywhere with you. So very easy to have on the go as well. But what I want to show you is that meal prep doesn't have to be complicated. You can look at those examples I've given already of either single ingredient combinations or pre-packaged foods that you can bring together as a meal. And we've looked at savoury and sweet options. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the benefits of meal prep, and then we're going to talk a bit about batch cooking and how you can get your inspiration. Let's look at the benefits of meal prep. So one of the biggest ones is cost. Now, if you're someone that buys your lunches every day, and say we're looking at you working a 5-day week. Now, if you go out and buy your lunches and it's say £3 to £4 a day, you're looking at 15, maybe nearer £20 a week. Now, I know that I can do a batch cook for 5 lunches for under £5. That's costing me £1 a day. So really big saving there already. If you're looking to introduce meal prep, you can start to write shopping lists of exactly what you want when you go shopping, and you're going to save money by not going in and buying excess food because you already know what you're heading into the shop to get. It's also very time efficient. So I know that as a bodybuilder and someone that knows about meal prep, I could easily say, oh, it saves me loads of time, but it legitimately does. And if you can sculpt it into your lifestyle with minimal stress, it will save you time. Now, what you want to think about here is, if you do go and buy your lunches each day, or however you source your food, how long that actually takes you. And if you introduce meal prep, that potentially you can do a condensed amount of time preparing your food against all of those times where you have to go and fetch your lunch or you have to go and buy things each day. Actually, you could be saving yourself a lot of time. One more benefit I'd like to talk about is the benefit of being able to control your diet that little bit more. So in the intro, I mentioned aligning your goals with meal prep. So if you're looking to change your body composition and transform your body, which is what this series is about. So episode 1, we spoke about 5 steps to help starting to transform your body. Episode 2, we went through tips to stick to your diet. Today we're implementing how to meal prep and how that's going to fit in and align with your goals and your lifestyle. Through learning how to bring meal prep into your life, you're able to control your nutrition a lot more. So you can start to look at how many calories you're having. You can start to look at varying your diet a lot more. And also you can look to work out what foods work really nicely for you. So it might be that you do get irritation from certain foods and you're not actually aware of it because you're just eating different things each day and you can't really pinpoint what it is. So it allows you to start learning how your body reacts to certain foods, and also it's going to then help you to feel much better in yourself. This means your energy, how you look, how you feel. So there's so many different benefits to bringing meal prep into your life. Before we talk about batch cooking, if anyone's got any decent recipes that they want to share, pop them in the comments below so we can start to share some recipes and ideas between us. So batch cooking, when you're following a recipe, is more along the lines of thinking about things like, say, your chili con carnes, maybe curries, stews, different things where you bring more ingredients together and then you portion it out. So with a lot of these recipes, you can also think about freezing them, which is really good to save time as well. So you could make a really big job lot. You could have some for your week coming up, and then you could have some for the following week as well. So it's very, very time efficient way to do it. The only thing is you don't want to start bringing too many things into the mix when you're early on in your meal prep, because you don't want to confuse things, and it can be a little bit finicky when you're following a big ingredient list and you're trying to bring together foods into a recipe that you haven't tried before. And this is where I'd also consider playing to your strengths. So if you're not, an avid cook and it's something that's quite new to you, start simple with the single ingredient cooking I've already spoken about, and then start to integrate different things the more your confidence builds with cooking. I'd also say be creative. Some of my favourite times with family and friends are making pizzas from scratch. So instead of ordering your takeaway pizza in, you can make your pizzas from scratch, you can choose your ingredients, you can save money, and generally it does taste nicer. So you can be in control of your diet, but you can still experience good times with your family and friends. So for me, when I started out, when I wanted to get some inspiration, I'd literally type in Google chicken recipes. I'd then look at what combinations there were, which foods I liked that were with the chicken recipes, and I'd just give them a go. So I'd allow some time, weekends were good when I first started out because I was working mainly in the week. I'd also look at my MyFitnessPal, so that's what I personally use to track my food. They've got different recipe ideas on there. But I'd also experiment. So I would choose some different vegetables, choose a different protein source, bring them together, add some spices, add some herbs, and see how it turned out. And when you're batch cooking, you can bring in things like, a chili con carne powder mix if you want to go down that route of using, flavoured mixes as well. So there's different ways that you can bring in different tools that are going to help you make your food that little bit tastier. At this stage, look for foods that you like. Don't go from, say, pre-packaged meals every single day to thinking that everything's just going to be plain fresh food. You want to bring yourself into meal prep, food prep, really nicely, and so that it doesn't cause you too much stress going from one lifestyle to a completely different lifestyle. So learn along the way, give yourself time, and try and enjoy it. Now you have more insight into meal prep. Next week I'm going to talk about how to hit a calorie target. So we're going to start to look at what it's like to have a calorie target, how you're going to structure your day around that, and the types of foods you can include to benefit you in the best ways possible. Before we wrap up, let's have a little update into how my own prep is going. So I've just finished week 6 and it's been another good week. I must admit that things are starting to get a little bit tougher now, so my body's holding a little bit more fatigue. Naturally, when you're dropping your calories, you are going to start to feel the effects of that as your prep goes on. By no means are my calories low. I'm still just under the 2,000 mark, but in my muscle building phase, so at the end of my off season, I did get up to pushing nearly 3,000 a day. So there is a difference there. Sleep is still really, really good. I feel that training is definitely a big strong point, as it has been so far through my prep. I had a really nice weight drop this week, I'm really pleased about. The reason I wanted to play this video as part of my YouTube episode today was because ultimately, the deeper I get into prep, the harder it's going to become. But when I look back at these videos and my show days, so pictures, videos, and different memories that I recall, it really does remind me of why I'm doing this and why I'm prepping. And my show coming up in December, as a pro bikini competitor, it's all of my wildest dreams come true. I always dreamt of being able to compete on an international stage, and it's just phenomenal to be at that point now as a bodybuilder. And body power is definitely a massive achievement for me. To compete at one of the biggest bodybuilding expos in the UK was just unbelievable. So it just reminds me, it keeps igniting that fire as to why I'm doing this prep and how I'm going to need to push as I get closer to the stage. But I just want you guys to remember that if you can believe it, then you can achieve it.
Sarah lives in Bognor region. She's been looking forward to competing at Body Power after competing at the UKUP Southern Championship. Sarah and her coach, Stephen Box, are here representing Team Box.
If you like this video, remember, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell to alert you every time I post a new video every Monday. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you next week.